welcome to Food for Thought Friday. I am your host, April Hanna, and I haven't done a Food for Thought Friday in a while, but as many of you know, this show is really just when I am called to be inspired to do something. So I have on this conversation with me my good friend, William Reid, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him in just a little bit, but the reason why I wanted to do this Food for Thought Friday is I have recently underwent a course that I feel is completely changing my life for the better. I took a course called Inner Engineering with the realized yogi and mystic, and his name is Sadhguru, and the website is innerengineering.com, but it has completely changed my life by doing this online course. And then I actually went to Philadelphia to learn a 21-minute practice and routine with my friend Bill. And if you guys follow us on Instagram, you will have seen some pictures and a little bit of a video blog that I did, and this is the follow-up to explain to you guys a little bit of what I have been experiencing. So some of the positive effects that I have had is I am down about 10 pounds in about 20 days. I have a skin condition that is clearing up. My anxiety is much lower. My outlook on life feels completely different. I'm becoming more flexible, and I am eating healthier and have lots more energy and sleeping very well. So we are also going to have and hear from my friend Bill's experience, because we have done this together along with our other friend Kevin, who was not able to join us on this call, but we can share a little bit about what we know about Kevin's experience up until now. So my friend Bill, I have come to know him, probably 5 years now. He's also known as Hanshi Reid because he is the founder and president of US Budokai Karate Association. Am I pronouncing that right, Bill?
That was perfect.
Yay! He is a 9th degree black belt and has more than 45 years experience in the martial arts. He has trained thousands of students in New York in the capital region since 1979, ranging in the ages from 4 to 75. And he founded his karate association in 1987. He is a longtime meditator, and he has taught classes at my studio. We have kind of been on a bit of a meditation and healing journey together in these past 5 years. And he came into my office one day and told me about this inner engineering course that his friend Kevin told him about. He started taking it. I noticed a complete difference in him, and there was just something in my whole being that said, whatever he is doing, I want to do, and I have to do this. So, Bill, welcome to my show, Food for Thought Friday.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
It's exciting time.
It is. So I know that you have been a long-time meditator. You maybe even want to tell our listeners a little bit of some of your experience just in the martial arts and your whole, journey of healing, and how maybe this course for you has also changed you quite a bit in all of the years that you've been meditating.
Sure. So I started martial arts many years ago after a tour in Vietnam, and came back and got involved in the martial arts because I needed something, and I wasn't sure what it was or why I needed it. I became involved in the martial arts, studied several different styles. I even studied under Chuck Norris for a while. I went out to California to do that, then came back to New York State and continued on with style I was training in, which was Kyokushinkai. Then went on to be with Seido Karate, and then developed my own system. And developing your own system isn't really developing your own system. It's taking everything you've learned and kind of mixing it together and using it. I'd always been involved in meditation or liked meditation, and I started out in Zen meditation, which was the door that opened for me at the time. And I enjoyed it. It can be painful because they make you in a kneeling position, and you have to withstand the pain to overcome everything. And then years later, I got involved with Tibetan meditation and found a person that was helping me with that, and actually studied under him a few times, big seminars, clinics. And that opened a whole new door because there wasn't a pain involved. And he said the key to this is to be relaxed, to be comfortable, to be able to find within yourself what's going on. And I now I'm retired from just about everything. I do some of the martial arts, but I came into the gym one day and was talking to this gentleman, CrossFit gym. Of course, I have to have something explosive to keep me going, so I'm doing CrossFit. So I came in, and he and I were talking. He said, "Have you ever listened to Sadhguru?" And I said, I think I picked up one of his YouTube things and was listening to it. And we got talking back and forth, and pretty soon I started listening to him a lot. And that's the best place to find the information is YouTube, and listen to some of his lectures. And Kevin came to me one day in the gym, and he said, "Hey, he's gonna be in Philadelphia." And jokingly, I said, "Well, let's go." And he thought I was joking, but I was really serious. And he goes, "Are you serious?" And he goes, I said, "Yeah, I'm retired. I can do that." So we come up with this plan, and then I spoke with April, and April said she had noticed a difference in me. I don't know what the difference is. I guess I'm calmer. I sleep much better, but I don't sleep as long. And I don't know if you found this, April, but really about 6.5 hours is great for me. Mm-hmm. I feel great after just that much. And I feel I don't even need 8 hours, which is kind of strange because I was sure I needed 8 hours. So anyway, digressing here, we went to the seminar in Philadelphia. April came, Kevin and I, and the first day was 12 hours of intense training. And I say intense because 12 hours is a long time. And the second day, Sunday, was 8 hours. So it was pretty intense. And then we came back, and the three of us check in with each other. And the goal was to do this practice twice a day for 40 days, April. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. 40 days. So we have some discussion about where we're at right now, because some people want to count the weekend we did, and I only want to count from the Monday when we get back.
Right.
But what number are we on at this point?
Well, I think, let's see, today is May 17th, and the conference started, what was it, on April 28th? Mm-hmm. So we're about around 20 days, maybe 22 days or so.
Right,
depending on how we count it, yeah.
And depending on how you count it, and with me, I don't count it. I just do it. But that's my background. I've always just gone ahead, and I do it twice a day. And even after the 40 days, I'm considering keeping up with twice a day. Yeah. Because that's how good you feel. And I thought it was funny that Sadhguru said, do you want to feel miserable all day, or do you want to be blissed out? And he's right. You're blissed out all day. And I'm just like walking around smiling. Even, of course, the big joke is that all it does is rain in New York State, or upper New York State. And even when it rains, I look outside and go, wow, what a beautiful day. So it's calmed me completely. I don't feel hungry all the time. I actually look forward to the second practice. The first one's great, but the second one's even better. So it's kind of unique when you do something and you can't wait to get back to it. I guess kind of like a gym membership. You find something you like and you can't wait to get in again and do it. The reason for that is, of course, how you feel. And we all feel something. If we work out, we feel great when we're leaving the gym. Of course, we don't feel great during the gym, but we feel great after the gym, after everything's calmed down. In karate, we call that mushin. And mushin means empty mind. And our minds are too clattering and banging around, and what do they call that, April? Monkey mind.
Monkey mind, yep.
Yeah, and monkey mind is the chatter that goes on in our daily lives all day long. We can't ride in a car without putting the radio on. We can't walk down the street without talking on a cell phone. There's something in our house always going. When you walk into your house, there's water sprinklers and sounds and clocks and televisions, and it's a constant buzzing in your head. So for this time of practice twice a day, there's absolutely nothing going on, and all you focus on is yourself, what's going on within you. And I thought it was great that Sadhguru said the answer is not out in front of you, it's inside of you. I thought that was a great quote. And that's kind of what I've fallen into, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm spending more time in the woods now than I ever have before, just to get away from the noise, because I never realized how much noise is around us all the time. People talking, laughing, sounds, horns, car engines, it's just constant. And so my experience with it at this point is I love it. So the question is, a year from now, where will I be? Right. And I think I'll be 100% better than I am even now.
Well, and, part of what they're saying, too, is that when you're learning this practice, and some of it is based in Kriya Yoga, and the teaching is through the yogic sciences. So that's important for people to know, too. And I'll explain to you guys what it is that we're actually doing. So those of you that do have a bit of a yoga background, you'll understand some of the positions that we're holding for these 21 minutes and what we're doing. But they did say that we were going to be able to notice very subtle changes throughout the 40 days. So we're supposed to do this practice 40 days, twice a day, and then once a day for 6 months. 6 months is what is recommended. Sadhguru also said, too, that now that we have the ability to, take our blood, send it out to labs, even though the three of us have not done that or got our blood work done before we started this, he said that there really are noticeable changes that happen within the body, within our whole system, that these levels and values would come back being very different after this practice of the 40 days and then 6 months.
April, let me jump in there. And It just so happens that I did have my physical and blood work probably about a month before we went.
Oh, really?
So I'm a little ahead of you guys, yeah.
Ooh, very cool.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So how this all came to be is was first a 7-module course that we needed to take online, and the website is innerengineering.com, and the 7 courses are made up of about 90 minutes each. And there's some rules to it, as there are to the practice that we're doing. They say that you have to come to this module, this online module, with basically an empty stomach, or eating very lightly. It's recommended to take a cool shower before you start. That you are to sit in a cross-legged position with palms up and no distraction. So you really have to try to take 90 minutes just completely to yourself. And I'll tell you, when I've been telling some of my friends about that and what they really need to do, they're like, oh, I don't know if I have the kids, I have the dogs, 90 minutes, I don't have time for that. And as Sadhguru would say, well, wake up 90 minutes earlier.
Yeah. Actually, that's the common theme, is that, I don't have time. But yet, when you're riding around at night, you'll see people at 10 o'clock at night on their computers sitting in front of that screen.
Right.
So you have time if you want to have time. That's the difference. You have to make time for yourself. If you don't, we're all going to explode, I think.
Yeah. So just the 7-module course online alone, I felt really changed. And when Bill had come into my office to tell me that he was doing this, I think he might have been like 3 to 5 courses in, and he was kind of explaining to me what he was learning. And a couple of things that I did notice was his speech was different. He was smiling the whole time he was in the office. Not that he usually isn't, but, he'll share with me sometimes things that could just be annoying him or make him angry, or just focused on what's going on in the news, or this person that was driving crazy, or telling me, kind of stories like that. And it's just his whole demeanor just felt very different. Being in his presence felt calmer. Not that being in your presence, Bill, never felt calm, but there was just a shift that's really hard to put into words. And I teased him a little bit, and I said, gosh, I've known you for about 5 years, and after that day, it was the first time he gave me a hug goodbye. So I was like, wow, okay, I'm like,
well, I grew up in a family of not hugging.
Right.
Yeah, seriously, the whole family was like that. No hugging. That's funny you should say that, because I was just coming from CrossFit in Glens Falls, and was just about up to the North Country where I live, and this car, I saw it coming from behind, had to be doing 90 and went flying by there, flying by all the traffic and flying by me. And I kind of looked up and I go, well, I guess he'll get there ahead of everyone else. Normally I'd be like, what, is he crazy? Is he out of his mind?
Right.
So it definitely has a calming effect. And it's noticeable because if you think about it in your daily life, there's so many things coming at you that want to make you angry, or that want to upset you, or that want to get you all excited. And so what this has done is it kind of makes you kind of look at it like, yeah, so what? It's not a big deal. And I think that's very liberating in itself, just to be able to go, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Kevin and I, when we go to the gym, he always looks at me and goes, how do you feel anyway? And I said, I feel blissed out, just like he said. I'm kind of like just wandering through life, enjoying every minute of it. And I think that was a key point, right, April? That
yes.
Deal with what's right in front of you. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about 5 minutes from now. What's right in front of you, right at this moment, is the most important thing in the world. I thought that was a great statement.
Yeah, and that was one of the modules too on the
Yep.
online course that really shifted. And I don't know why it landed with me with this teacher, but I can't tell you how many people I have interviewed through the Path 11 podcast, how many books I have read over the years, and I was, intellectually understanding that whole just living in the moment. This is the only moment that we have. But there is something in the way that he is teaching that, and what I'm experiencing, as you say, just kind of being blissed out and really loving life, that has completely changed me. And there was a moment of grief a little bit for me during that online module course where I kind of woke up in the moment and I said to myself, oh my God, I've been on this planet for 42 years and I have not lived most of the years that I have been on here, because I've been either in the past reliving memories, or I've been anxious and in my imagination and worrying about the next thing, or in the rush to get to the next thing, instead of just really honoring and being in this present moment.
I think an important thing he said, which I still laugh at every day, is he said, one thing I want to guarantee everyone, we're all going to die.
Yep.
And I think, but he has such compassion and love that it just radiates off of him. I mean, you're just sitting there looking at him going, wow. So, and I think that's part of what really draws you to him, is there's nothing phony about it. There's really love and compassion, and that comes off, that just radiates off his body. I mean, you can't miss it. When you look into his eyes, you're like, whoa, yeah. It's just different, And I think, like he said, listen, the best thing he could have said is 2019, we have more than we've ever had in our entire lives. More food, more technology, more money, more cars, more boats, and we're still not happy.
Right.
And that says it all right there. I always used to tell my karate students, I go, yeah, everybody loves to get, and I used to use Dodge Ram because that just was a quote I used, but yeah, everybody can't wait to get that brand new Dodge Ram. I'm always in class, I'd say, did you see the commercial? And they'd be like, yeah, we saw the commercial. I go, we can't wait to get that Dodge Ram. And then we get it. And then at the end of the month, that payment book comes, and then we go, oh, no. And so that's our quest. That's how we think we're going to feel better about ourselves, but it's very short-lived.
Yeah. And on the online course, too, there's a couple of key points of what we're kind of learning and integrating into this whole practice. And really, it's more about a state of being, right? Because I'm sure people have heard, we're not human doers, we're human beings. And how do we stop from doing so much and just learning how to be? And that's kind of what Sadhguru says too. He's like, your job is to live. You came here to live life, not to do all of this other stuff. But in the modules, he talks about desire is life. And he says, no desire, no life. He said, you can't be here without desire, and having desire is fine. But what he's also trying to teach is, are you living consciously or compulsively? So that's one of the things in the modules too, that you begin to reflect upon yourself. How much of my life am I just living out of compulsion? And, some of that compulsion can be eating, can be drinking, could be alcohol, could be drugs, could be shopping, could be gambling, could be anything, really. But if you're doing things out of your desire and you're conscious about it, that is a different way to live. And, you're kind of hearing Bill and I say, our sleep has decreased, our appetite has decreased, certain things, because when you really start to adapt this principle of being very conscious of the present moment, a lot of that compulsion goes away. I've had the same experience, Bill. My sleep, I've always been a great sleeper. I think we've talked about this before. 8 hours, 10 hours, uninterrupted. I'm at about 6.5 hours too now, and I wake up with a ton of energy. Before, like 6.5 hours, I would feel pretty groggy,
Yeah. I wake up and I'm like, okay, here we go. Yeah. I actually feel good about it. And like Sadhguru said, he's wake up and just go, I'm alive. I'm alive again, because many people won't wake up. So that's a great one. When you wake up in the morning, just go, oh, thank you, I'm alive.
Thank you for listening to this free preview. To hear the rest of this episode in its entirety, visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/path11 and become a supporter today. When you pledge as little as $1 per month as a Patreon supporter, you gain access to exclusive interviews, regularly produced guided meditations, future episodes of our weekly podcast before anyone else, and you can also watch our new TV show, Conversations on the Path. This is a one-on-one conversation with interesting people working on interesting projects. Again, that's patreon.com/path11. Pledge your support today and help us change the world.